Okay, so, hi everyone, it's Nova, and, boy, it's been a while, huh? So, I'm sorry to have been gone so long, but honestly, there's been so much going on since my last video. And, for instance, I stopped posting largely because I started into school, which I have gotten through my first year back at this point, and I am very happy with myself. I managed to not only pass, but get A's, which was good because that whole process was stressful in and of itself. Which, side note, I'm gonna have to rant about ridiculousness with the school system at one point because I cannot be the only one who thinks that if it's been over a decade since the last time you went to school and there was an issue with like your grades and stuff, I feel like there should be some kind of grace period for not having to necessarily appeal to still receive your financial aid. A little bit salty about that. But anyway, so I started back into school, I passed with A's, and not only that though, I work full-time. You know, I have worked full-time the whole time I've had this channel, and it's been one of those things where balancing it can be a little bit difficult at times, and it gets a little bit much. But along with that, at Christmas time, you know, my family came up from Florida. We had an interesting time because my grandmother broke her hip, and she's doing very well now. She's recovering really well, so definitely glad to see that. But I developed severe bronchitis for a while at the tail end of December into January, and I completely lost my voice with that. It was horrible. And then, of course, I started my second semester also in January. Then at the tail end of January into February, I got the flu, which messed up my voice again. And I also still have a lingering cough and a bunch of issues from that, which I think a lot of people have from the flu this year. And school was really intense there for a bit, especially with literary analysis, which I'm bad at. I watched my niece on Fridays, and I finally got back into therapy and finally got my proper official autism diagnosis. So long story short, it's been a lot. And frankly, I get really sick every January for some reason, so going forward, even once I'm out of school, I may just take that month off from content creation, just in general going forward, because I get sick every time, and it seems like every time I do, I also lose my voice, which creates its own problems and makes it kind of hard to record. But with all of that said, I am finally back. I'm working on scripts and art and videos to get this channel up and running again. And speaking of the art, I do want to talk about this piece in particular. I didn't get to record the entire final rendering with the shadows and the highlights and all of that, just because I ended up doing the last of it on my tablet. And because of that, I didn't get a chance to really record it. I wasn't thinking about it. So you will see the finished piece, and you will see a good amount of the process for the flats and the line art. And this character is one from one of my other projects, not Trace. His name is Lorik, and he is a paladin. And I'm going to leave that there with that because, again, it's from one of my many other projects, but we will touch on those here in just a bit. So, one thing I do want to talk about, though, is my intentions going forward. So, I am wanting to get things going properly again, and here's the plan for that. I have to address that once school goes back in for fall, I can't necessarily guarantee weekly uploads. I may stagger them to every other week, but throughout the summer, my intention is to continue to develop and make content and create kind of a backlog of B-roll and scripts and audio recordings so that I can still put videos together to post throughout the fall semester, just to try and keep as much consistency as possible. Now that said, I do still have to work around my work schedule as well because I work full-time, but I'm still going to try really hard to end up properly meeting at least some level of consistency. But there are a few things in specific as well that I would like to do. Now, once I figure out a consistent day and time, I do want to try and incorporate weekly streams into my content. The intention's to multi-stream both here and Twitch, and see about trying to help that with the consistency a bit, because even if I can't get a video up that week, I can at least have a weekly stream where the VOD is going to be up for people to watch back over it, and I think that'll help a little bit. But I want to continue that through school, and it should also help with getting my watch time up, which is an important goal at this point because I'm getting really close to being able to monetize my channel, and even if it's just a little bit, it's still something, and it's still an accomplishment. And any little bit, honestly, helps immensely. Now, in talking about the content itself, I already have quite a few ideas, and I have a few general art topics to discuss, like I have previously, and some of them are going to get revisited again, because I either have something new to say, or because I feel that the topic needs addressed again in the community. I don't have a lot of reach, but maybe it'll get to somebody who needs to hear the kind of thing that I'm saying. And of course, there's going to be more story times that I'd like to do. Honestly, there's so many hilarious, weird stories that there's no shortage of those, so that's always fun. But one I really want to try and focus on is some of my other projects, and some of my different projects of my own making, and also a series of videos on art history. But that's not the main focus right now. Trace, now that one's one that it's not getting put on the back burner. I'm still playing with it, but I've decided that I really need to try and be a bit more open with what I'm doing with it, rather than just being like, okay, I need to develop this and develop it, and all of that. I need to give myself room to play. And it's also not the only topic and project that I want to work on. When it comes down to it, I have a lot of trouble picking and sticking with a single project at a time. It's been something I've never been good at. And I actually think that giving myself the freedom to kind of explore and play with the different story ideas that I have would be a good idea overall. And just in general, working on one might inspire me for another and give me ideas of how to break through a problem that I have with others. And I think it'd be nice to share those story ideas with you guys. Another thing I want to do is that I don't have a setup for it yet. I'm working on it, but I want to incorporate some traditional art videos into the rotation. I'd like to talk about the different traditional supplies that I enjoy using personally in my art whenever I'm not drawing digitally. And I'd like to talk about and show how I enjoy watercolor, because that's probably my favorite traditional medium. But I think those would be really nice, especially recording those with some more general soothing talky videos that are just some of the calmer ones. If you've ever watched Emily Artful, like her more meaningful ones, those are kind of the inspiration behind it. And I'd like to try it. Like I said, it won't be an immediate thing. I don't have a setup for it yet, but it's something that I want to do. Now, another thing I want to do, which I have done before, is talking about tropes. Ones that I both love and ones that I hate. Story things like that are just fun to discuss for me, even if I don't have as much insight to it as maybe others do. But I think that it would be a lot of fun to talk about more of them and get maybe genre specific or just character design specific and things like that. I think that would be so much fun to make. Now, that said, if you guys have any topics or tropes or questions or anything like that you guys want to hear me talk about, let me know down in the comments. I'm totally open to ideas and suggestions for videos. I have a video schedule, essentially, where I have my, the topics listed and everything, but there's a lot of gaps in those, and I'm totally happy to move them around and rearrange them, especially if somebody suggests something or asks a question that really just sparks my brain. Because it's extremely likely that, you guys are going to think of something that I've never even considered. So I'd really like to hear what you guys think, and shoot, start a discussion in the comments about it. That'd be really awesome to look at and to interact with. But overall, I really want you guys to know that new videos are coming. Before now, I just really hadn't had an opportunity to work on them. Juggling everything can be a little bit difficult and definitely exhausting, especially when I get sick or like now when I'm dealing with allergies that I apparently now have. But here's hoping for a lot of improvement going forward. I have to get back adjusted to recording again because I went a long time without it, and when you stop for a while, there's a little bit of a learning curve coming back to it. But improvement and essentially getting back to our regularly scheduled chaos. And if you want to see how things develop moving forward and you're not already, see about maybe subscribing, especially if you want to see what kind of projects or ideas that I have for my art. Or for the coloring books that I'm working on, because I want to use those and show those processes in my videos as well. But if you have thoughts or suggestions, make sure to leave a comment. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!